What you mean you don't know Pana? She's dope. What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? What you mean?
What is poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl DOPEaxxPANA, and today I am doing a video that came requested by Mac, how to make clean parts for straight back feed-in braids. And guys, if you have any video suggestions, check the top of the comments. I pinned a link where you guys can drop a video suggestion that you guys would like to see, and I'm doing my best to complete them all before the quarantine is over. So this video will be strictly about the parting that I do for these braids. So I like to start in the middle, and whenever I'm doing my parts, I always do kind of like a rough draft part, which I still try to make as straight as possible, and then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna clean that part up. What comb you are using is very important. I'll make sure I link the comb that I'm using in the description section. There are also like precision parting combs that a lot of people use, which I think is great if you're a beginner. I typically don't need to use that. The product that I'm using today is Shine and Jam Magic Fingers. I do use a combination of different Shine and Jams. It really just depends on what I have on hand or what's in stock at the beauty supply. So for today, I am going to be using this product. So now what I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm cleaning up my parts. A lot of people call this like HD parting, when you go in and you just clean up that section. The product really helps to define that line and really make it easier for you to see which hairs are going where. When you're parting, you do want to focus on using the tip of your comb, so I'm kind of letting that guide the way, and then whatever is like on either side of it, I just push to that side. Starting with the part down the middle has really helped me from having my braids end up slanted, because that was something that I really struggle with when I would start from the side. So I do like to start with that part down the middle. I am doing an even amount of braids, so that's why I have a part down the middle. If you do an odd number, there will actually be a braid down the middle. So here I'm gonna start on this side, and I'm doing the same thing. I know that I'm gonna have 3 braids on this side, so I kind of just try to eyeball where I think that first braid should be. You wanna think of this section being split into thirds. If you are a beginner, I would definitely suggest pre-parting out the entire head before you start any braids. I'm not a beginner, so I'm going to be parting and braiding as I go. I was showing you guys the nape of her neck because you do need to be mindful about making sure that you have room and space for all of your braids to fit at the nape of the neck. This client actually has a really small nape back there, so just making sure that you're leaving enough room for all your braids to fit is really important. If my client's nape is a little bigger than the client that I'm working on now, what I would do with this first braid is when I get down to the bottom of it, I would angle it in slightly, and that will help to give an effect that all of my braids are a lot closer together. I'm also going to show you guys a trick at the end of this video to make sure that all of your braids stay close together at the nape. Guys, parting is just so important. You want to make sure that you really take your time to define these parts, because this can literally make or break your style. I've seen some really good braids that just do not have defined and accurate parting, and it really takes away visually from how your style looks. So once I have completed that first braid, I'm going to take the rest of the hair on the right side and I'm going to split that into 2. Again, I'm gonna go in with that product and rub it along the part, and I'm gonna use this product to help me define this part and make it as straight as possible. Notice that I always have one side in a ponytail. I know sometimes when you part clients' hair, you part it and you think it's straight, and then you put a little tension on it and it's crooked. You wanna make sure that you are just making sure that you have tension on both sides. So sometimes I will part the side and kind of pull down or comb down just to make sure that that part is straight. Now that I'm at the third braid on the right side, this one is actually really easy because I already did my part down the middle, and I already did 2 braids on the right side, so this one is already pretty much pre-parted. I am just going through and showing you guys a little quickie of my stitch braiding. This client's hair turned out super neat, and so I just wanted to flex one time and show my stitches. This is something that I've really been practicing on, and I see my growth with every video. So guys, just apply the techniques that you guys are learning, and remember that all of this stuff takes time. We all start out as beginners one time. So yes, just don't get discouraged and keep practicing, and you will eventually get there. It's so crazy because recently someone had commented on my channel and was like, why do people need a parting tutorial? Like, parting is super easy. And it really was not until I went to cosmetology school that I realized that parting is actually not that easy for a lot of people. I know one of my closest friends in school had struggled with it, and I was kind of mind blown. I was like, wait, what? People don't know how to part? Because being a braider is just like something that we naturally do. We do it so much. So yes, guys, really just try to perfect your parts. This can really, like I said, make or break your style. If you are someone who is struggling with it, trust me, you are not the only one, and you will get there. So now when I'm on the opposite side, I'm just gonna basically repeat everything that I did on the right side and do the same exact thing on the left side here. On this side, I tried to get you guys a couple different angles so that you guys can see what I am doing. So yes, guys, when you are choosing a tool to part with, you want to try to find a comb that has a very, very precise tip that comes to either some type of point or it's really small and defined. Like I said, there are precision parting combs out there. I don't use that. I will link the comb that I use in the description section. You can also use a rat tail, or sometimes people just use small combs. There are definitely different ways that you can achieve nice and clean parts, but like I said, you do want to find a comb that has a very defined tip on it. If you're using like a larger comb or a comb that has like a rounded end, it is going to be very difficult to get a nice defined part. So here I am working on my last 2 braids. What that part down the middle does for me, it allows me to follow kind of like a guideline shape so that, like I said, my braids don't end up slanted. If you were to pre-part this entire style out, you can really look and make sure that your braids are very accurate and precise. I would recommend that for a beginner, as I stated in the beginning of this video. For me, I don't need to do that, but the part down the middle does make it just a lot easier to map out the braids on each side. And when you get to that last braid, it's super easy because the hair is already parted off, so you don't really need a bunch of clips or anything. So if you are at home during quarantine and this is something that you guys want to practice, I will link my favorite mannequin head in the description section. You guys can get it right off of Amazon, and it's what I have used to practice a lot of techniques on. I just want you guys to keep in mind, because someone did send me a DM and told me that they had a hard time parting on their mannequin head. Parting is extremely hard on a mannequin head just because it's not a real head of hair with like a head full of hair follicles. It's very patchy and spacey. So if you are struggling parting on a mannequin head, just rest assured, like, keep in mind that it is a lot easier on a human head. So I don't want you guys to get discouraged about that. I think it's great for practicing braiding techniques or just different techniques, different hairstyles on. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So yes guys, now we are on our last braid, and I'm now going to show you guys a trick to keep all of your braids close together at the nape of the neck. These are already pretty close, but if you are someone who struggles with it, you're going to take a regular sewing thread with the curved needle that you would use to do like a typical sew-in, and you're going to thread that through the nape of the neck, the braids at the nape of the neck, right through the middle of the braids. So when I'm putting the needle through, I'm going through the middle of each braid as close as I can to the nape of the neck, and I'm just gonna pull those tight, not super tight where your braids are like basically like laying on top of each other, because that can happen, but just close enough where it gives it that nice close together look. Doing this, your client will still be able to pull her braids over her shoulder if you guys keep it really close to the nape of the neck. Basically, I'm going through one side and coming back through the other. Then I'm gonna cut my needle and tie it off, and then cut off the excess string. I will show you at the end that the braids can still be moved at this point, but also if your client doesn't want this, you can also not do it, or they can always cut the string out on their own. So yes guys, this is the finished look. So poppin'. If you guys like this tutorial, make sure you guys thumbs up and subscribe. Also click the notification bell so you guys can get notified every time I post. If you guys have a video idea, make sure you check the comment I pinned and let me know what you guys want to see next. I will catch you guys in my next video.
What you mean you don't know Pana? She's dope. What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? What you mean?